Ever seen this vehicle? Seen what it can do? But did you know the JSW-Gecko Motors SMV N 1200, also known as the Sherp, is now made in India? So come with us as we take a deep dive into the production of this vehicle and what makes it absolutely unique. And today we are at JSW-Gecko Motors in Chandigarh to see how this crazy vehicle is actually put together and manufactured right here in India. Now this is where it all starts. This is where the hull is put together, and a lot of this high strength steel comes from JSW. JSW is a steel maker. They produce the steel and send it here. They send it in sections, some large, some small, and it's put together into this form right here. And this is where the chain drive system is put onto the vehicle. As you can see, it's pretty complex with a chain drive. And the chain drive runs inside this section here, which is actually an oil bath. So it's always lubricated. It's sealed off from the rest of the water or the environment, and it runs perfectly. Also installed here, a lot of the sealant that you see to make this completely waterproof. And that there is one of the sprockets already installed on the vehicle. And these are the chains and the drive units also made in India. Next up, the engine. Now this is where the engine, transmission and rollover protection system is put onto the vehicle. Now the engine comes from Hyundai. It's a 1.8 litre 3-cylinder diesel, and it puts out 55 horsepower and 197 Nm of torque. It's a low revving industrial engine, and it's made to run at a certain RPM the entire day. This makes it quite different from a car engine. And behind here is a Renault gearbox. It's a 6-speed manual, and that helps send all the power to the chain drive system and those massive wheels. Now what's fascinating is that this vehicle uses differential steering. And this is the clutch system that allows for that differential steering. You block one side, send power to the other, and the vehicle turns. There's no steering linkage, there's no rack, the wheels don't turn. It turns like a tracked vehicle or a tank. And that's where the differential clutch goes, and next to it, 2 disc brakes that allow for the differential steering. Now for the fuel tanks, and it's plural. Right here, that's the 95 litre diesel tank. And 95 litres isn't the total capacity. That's 320 litres. So where does that go? Let me show you. This cavity here is where all that extra fuel goes, in every single wheel. And another thing, this pipe is where these wheels are inflated from. They use exhaust gas to inflate them to around 3 psi. That's it. And that's where the diesel goes, right here, 58 litres per wheel. And this is the cooling system. And like a Formula 1 car, the radiator is put here inside this side pod. That there is the air filter that gives air into the engine. And this is also where the aluminium body of this vehicle is put on. The panels, the glass, and a lot of the controls on the inside. And what's it like on the inside? Of course, the door is unusual. Now, since you have to get in from the front, all the controls are on this side panel, and you have everything here with switches. There's no touch screen, thankfully. A lot of switches here, a lot of different functions. And this here is the gearbox. It's operated by a foot clutch. And this is the accelerator. Now, importantly, there's no brake, because braking is done by pulling these 2 levers back. Exactly like the Benz patent wagon, the first car. These are also how you turn the vehicle, differential steering. Push one forward and the vehicle turns in this direction. Do it the other way, it goes that way. The wheels don't turn at all. So how do you get in? Now to get in, you first need to open this windscreen. Then you open the step ladder. The panel on the left is for the controls. Now let's take a closer look at this instrument panel. These are for lights and indicators, wipers. This here controls the tire pressure. It's showing right now at 82, and that's for the cabin heater, air conditioning, cabin lighting, lights on the water, fuel heating. You can heat the fuel if you're in a cold place like Ladakh before you start up. That's the water pump. It's a bilge pump like you have on a boat in case some water gets in and you need to get it out. That's the reserve lights, rear view camera, LED sidebar, and a chart that tells you what pressure to run in what conditions. In the rear, it's quite spacious and comfortable. So the Sherp essentially seats 9 people, 7 at the back here and 2 up front. And of course you need handles for this thing, with it moving around, pitching, rolling all the time. It's a pretty different vehicle. And it's nicely finished and built, not your typical military vehicle. And this here is actually a heating system that runs off a turbine. The turbine also powered by diesel. It heats up the cabin and can also heat up the oil in the engine before you start it up. But the turbine doesn't power the vehicle. And another thing about these tires, you see these ridges here, they help propel it when it's in water, when it's floating in water. And the paddles pushing together give it a speed of around 6 or 7 kilometers in water. Also, while the tires give it a lot of buoyancy, this vehicle can even float with all 4 tires deflated. And another incredible thing, this vehicle has no suspension, it's just the tires. Now for the most unique part, driving this monster. It's certainly not as easy as it looks. Can't wait to take it somewhere extreme. But that will have to wait.